Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're really diving into some seriously thought-provoking ideas from Daniel Fioqui's guide to generating business results. Get ready to challenge, some of the assumptions that we've all held about work and success.
Yeah.
Because we're about to uncover some potentially game-changing approaches.
Yeah, Fioqui doesn't advocate for just, discarding everything we know, right?
Yeah.
It's more like taking that step back and asking, what if there's a better way? Like, what if we could achieve better results, by challenging some of those deep-seated assumptions we have about business?
I like that. And his first big idea might seem kind of obvious at first, prioritizing customer satisfaction over stakeholder satisfaction. But how many times have we all seen decisions being made based on internal politics or what the highest paid person in the room thinks?
Yeah, Fioqui calls that the hippio effect, highest paid person's opinion. And it can be a real roadblock to building truly customer-centric organizations. He reminds us of Henry Ford's quote, "It is not the employer who pays the wages. Employers only handle the money. It is the customer who pays the wages. If we don't meet our customers' needs, they'll simply take their business elsewhere."
You're totally right. It's so easy to get caught up in internal metrics and lose sight of who we're serving, the customers. So how do we break free from that hippio effect and start prioritizing the customer's voice?
Well, Fioqui suggests that we build these robust feedback loops into every stage of our process, constantly validating decisions with real user input, not just relying on assumptions or internal opinions.
So you're saying it's not just about sending out surveys or holding the occasional focus group.
No, it's about really understanding our customers. Their pain points, their desires, their unmet needs, having real conversations, observing their behavior, and actively seeking feedback on how our products or services are meeting those needs. Are we solving problems that our customers actually care about?
That's a great point. It makes me think about all those times companies develop features that nobody asked for. Features that don't actually address a real problem for the users. It happens more often than you'd think.
Exactly. And it can be a huge waste of time and resources. So shifting our focus from internal opinions to genuine customer insights is essential for building products and services that resonate and deliver real value. That's the foundation of Fioqui's approach.
Okay, so we're ditching the hippio and tuning in to the voice of the customer. What's the next challenge Fioqui throws our way?
So he argues that we should be optimizing for end-to-end flow instead of getting caught up in optimizing individual teams. Think about how often we see companies with these highly specialized teams, each one laser-focused on their own area of expertise.
That's the norm in most organizations, right? You have your marketing team, your sales team, your product development team, each operating within their own silo.
Right. But here's the catch. Optimizing each team in isolation can actually create bottlenecks and inefficiencies in the overall flow of value to the customer. It's like having a high-performance engine in a car with a faulty transmission. The individual parts might be great, but the system as a whole won't function effectively.
I see what you're saying. So it's all about the big picture, not just the individual pieces.
Exactly. And Fioqui uses a great example to illustrate this point. Imagine two teams, each taking 3 days to complete their part of a task. So you assume the whole process would take 6 days, right?
Right.
But what if it took an additional 10 days for the second team to even start their part?
Okay, so now we're looking at 16 days for a task that could theoretically be done in 6.
Exactly. That delay is a result of a breakdown in the end-to-end flow. Each team might be working efficiently on their own, but the handoff between them creates a bottleneck that slows down the entire process.
So how do we fix this? Do we just merge all the teams into one giant mega team? That doesn't seem very practical.
Not necessarily. It's about breaking down those silos and mapping workflows around the entire customer journey, not just around internal functions. Instead of thinking in terms of, marketing team, sales team, product development team, we need to start thinking about the customer's experience from their very first interaction with our brand, all the way through to becoming a loyal repeat customer.
So instead of optimizing for individual departments, we're optimizing for the entire customer experience, creating a seamless flow of value from start to finish.
Precisely. And by eliminating unnecessary handoffs and bringing teams together to collaborate on the entire customer journey, we can dramatically reduce delays, eliminate bottlenecks, and ultimately deliver value to the customer much faster. You got it.
Okay, so we've kind of challenged some assumptions about who we're serving and how work actually gets done. What's next on Fioqui's list of business provocations?
Well, he actually challenges this traditional idea of people management. He wants us to kind of shift our focus from controlling people to controlling the work itself.
I mean, that sounds a little counterintuitive. Isn't managing people a core part of running any business?
Oh, of course leadership is essential. But Fioqui suggests that our primary focus should be on managing the work and the outcomes, rather than micromanaging individuals, right? He's advocating for this collaborative environment that's free from these fear-based cultures, where people feel trusted and empowered to take ownership of their work and contribute their unique talents.
So it's not about constantly looking over people's shoulders or dictating, exactly how they should do their jobs. It's about creating that culture of trust where individuals feel empowered to make decisions and take initiative.
Exactly. And this challenges us to kind of ask ourselves, are our metrics genuinely driving better outcomes for our customers? Or are they simply measuring, how busy individuals are? Are we rewarding butts and seats, or are we focused on the value that's being created?
Yeah, I think we've all experienced the difference between a workplace where you feel micromanaged and one where you feel trusted and empowered, right? When you're constantly second-guessing yourself or afraid to make a mistake, it just stifles creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
But when you feel empowered to make decisions and contribute your ideas, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Fioqui suggests that removing rigid rules and micromanagement can actually unleash this wave of autonomy, encourage people to think outside the box and solve problems more creatively.
Yeah, it's about replacing that fear of failure with a sense of psychological safety, where people feel comfortable taking risks and experimenting with new ideas, knowing that they won't be punished for making a mistake.
Exactly. When people feel trusted and empowered, they're more likely to step up, take ownership, and go above and beyond to deliver exceptional results.
This leads perfectly into Fioqui's next big idea: prioritizing finishing ongoing work over starting new work. Seems we've all been there, right? Juggling multiple projects, feeling overwhelmed, and struggling to prioritize.
Yeah, it's a common trap we all fall into. We get excited about these shiny new initiatives and end up spreading ourselves too thin, leaving a trail of unfinished projects in our wake. Fioqui puts it bluntly: one task delivered to the customer is worth more than 20 tasks in progress.
Wow, it's a powerful statement. It really highlights the importance of delivering tangible value, not just having a bunch of projects in various stages of completion. It's about crossing the finish line, not just starting the race.
Yeah, and he suggests implementing a work in progress limit, or WIP limit, starting at the strategic level. This means consciously limiting the number of projects or initiatives that can be active at any given time, forcing teams to prioritize and focus on completing existing work before taking on anything new.
So being more selective about which projects we take on, and then committing to seeing them through to completion.
Exactly. And this requires a shift in mindset, both at the individual and organizational level. We need to become more comfortable saying no to new opportunities, delegating effectively and ruthlessly prioritizing our work to ensure that we're delivering maximum value.
This makes me think about all those times I felt pressured to take on more and more, even when I already had a full plate. It's like we're conditioned to say yes to everything, even if it means sacrificing quality or delaying other important projects.
It's a common challenge, especially in today's fast-paced, always-on work environment. But learning to say no and to set those healthy boundaries is essential for both individual and organizational success.
Fioqui's emphasis on finishing ongoing work is a powerful reminder that we need to be more intentional about how we manage our time and energy. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most and completing it to the best of our ability.
Absolutely. By focusing on finishing what we start, we not only deliver tangible value to our customers, but we also free up our mental bandwidth and creative energy to tackle the next challenge with renewed focus and enthusiasm.
So we've explored 3 of Fioqui's key principles: challenging the HIPPO, optimizing for end-to-end flow, and shifting from people control to work control. These have been some pretty radical departures from conventional thinking. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure we touch on the importance of completing work and how that can actually lead to better business results.
It's all interconnected, really. When we prioritize customer needs, break down silos to optimize the entire customer journey, and empower teams to take ownership of their work, it naturally leads to a greater focus on delivering tangible value. And that means finishing what we start. It's about shifting from a culture of busyness to a culture of completion.
I can definitely see how those principles work together to create a more effective and fulfilling work environment. But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, Fioqui offers some additional provocations, encouraging us to question some of our deepest held assumptions about work and success. He asks us to consider whether our strategies are based on outdated assumptions, whether our metrics truly reflect customer success, and whether fear of failure is hindering innovation.
These are tough questions, but they're essential for anyone who wants to push the boundaries of what's possible. and achieve truly remarkable results.
So take some time to reflect on these questions. When we return, we'll explore Fioqui's final provocation and discuss how you can take action to create lasting change in your organization. Welcome back, everyone, to the final part of our deep dive into Daniel Fioqui's Guide to Generating Business Results. So we've challenged the Hippio, explored the power of end-to-end flow, and learned to shift our focus from controlling people to controlling the work.
And we even talked about, the importance of finishing ongoing work before getting swept up in those new initiatives.
Right. Now, Fioqui leaves us with this, one final powerful provocation.
He asks, what would happen if you stopped doing things the way they've always been done and challenged every assumption?
Wow, that's a big one. It's like he's really urging us to not just tweak the system, but to completely reimagine it from the ground up.
Yeah, it's a call to be bold, be audacious, and really shed that fear of disrupting the status quo. He's pushing you to consider that there might be a completely different way to approach your work, and a better way, and to achieve those extraordinary results.
But how do we actually do that? How do we embrace this radical shift in mindset and truly challenge every assumption we've been operating under?
It starts with curiosity. Question everything. Don't accept anything at face value. When you encounter a problem or challenge, ask why 5 times to get to the root cause.
Don't just treat the symptoms. Dig deep to understand those underlying issues. I can see how that would lead to more innovative solutions.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to challenge the status quo, even if it means, questioning those long-held beliefs or practices. Just because something has always been done a certain way doesn't mean it's the best way.
I know. That can be really hard, though, especially in the organizations that are resistant to change. But I guess real innovation requires that willingness to challenge those ingrained ways of thinking.
You're absolutely right. It takes courage to challenge the status quo, but the potential rewards are enormous.
And a healthy dose of humility, wouldn't you say? Like a willingness to admit that we don't have all the answers. And that there might be a better way.
Absolutely. Letting go of our egos and embracing that growth mindset, where we're constantly seeking to learn, improve, and evolve, create a culture where it's safe to challenge assumptions, experiment, and even make mistakes along the way.
Yeah, that's such a crucial point. If people are afraid to speak up or share their ideas for fear of, being ridiculed or punished, then innovation will be stifled.
Fioqui's final provocation is a powerful reminder that the journey of business improvement never truly ends. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more ways to create even greater value for our customers.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this final thought. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. Don't be afraid to ask why. Don't be afraid to experiment and learn from your mistakes.
Embrace the power of curiosity, the courage to challenge assumptions, and the unwavering commitment to continuous improvement.
And most importantly, never stop striving to create those remarkable experiences for your customers.
That's what true business success is all about.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Daniel Fioqui's thought-provoking ideas. We hope you've gained some valuable insights that you can apply to your own work and life. Until next time, keep challenging, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.